if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. What if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. Tell me you don't feel.
Hi, I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. So I wasn't going to talk about Donald Trump and about his court case anymore. I thought, well, I don't really need to discuss that. So many people obviously discuss it. There's so much commentary out there. What do I need to say? However, talking to a few people, it amazed me how many people here in Australia, anyway, don't actually understand what's going on. Don't really see what he's done wrong, if anything, and how the justice system over there has been twisted in a way to get a conviction when normally it would not be able to. So many people here in Australia have failed to see the injustice that has happened, regardless of whether you agree with Donald Trump, will you like him, will you agree with his politics, no matter what you think of him. I really find it hard to believe, or how I find it hard to see how anyone can look at the facts of what's happened and not understand that an injustice has been brought about by a legal system, and it's been done purposely, it's been done vindictively, it's been done with malice. They have gone out of their way and sought injustice, not justice. They have gone out for revenge. They have twisted the law for their own evil doing. And look, I wanted to talk about everything that happened. I wanted to try and, put it in my own words and boil it down a bit. But the thing is, it's such a big subject. But I found I want to read to you what Martin Iles, Martin, who was formerly in the ACL, the Australian Christian, well, what was it for? Anyway, the Australian Christian Party or something like that here, ACL here in Australia. And he was a solicitor. He is a lawyer, and what he's boiled it down. And I think what his explanation is probably one of the best ones I've read so far. So I'll read to you what he said. And he says, for those who just want to know the basic, relatively impartial facts about the Trump case, here's his attempt. He says, 8 years ago, Trump's lawyer paid $130,000 to a woman called Stormy Daniels to prevent her from alleging an affair with him. Stormy Daniels is a porn star. She's a porn actress and director. Such hush money payments are not illegal. Okay, it's not illegal. So it's $130,000 to her so she wouldn't talk. That's not illegal. The alleged wrongdoing is that the payment was falsely categorized in financial records as a legal fee, and thus the payment was covered up. Okay, so it's mislabeling, putting the wrong heading on on something when you've gone to pay the bill. Thus, the charge would have been one of falsifying business records. This would ordinarily amount to no more than a misdemeanor. So legally speaking, misdemeanors are normally punishable by way of a fine, not jail. In any event, the statute of limitations meant it happened too long ago to be tried. Therefore, former Democrat Manhattan District Attorney declined to prosecute, as did Biden's own Justice Department. However, what's happened? The current Manhattan District Attorney ran for election on a platform of promising to prosecute Trump. So he said, hey, we all hate Donald Trump. We want to get revenge because we don't like him, the fact that he's running for president. We just don't like him. So I'm going to go out and get him. I'm going to find a way. Elect me. I will find a way. So he worked around the statute of limitations by elevating the charge to a felony rather than a misdemeanor. Felonies are more serious and punishable by prison terms. In order for the crime, so this crime of falsification of business records, so labeling something as a legal expense, that's the crime. In order for that crime to qualify as a felony, it must have been committed in the course of committing another felony. And this is where the extreme injustice, in my opinion, extreme injustice comes in. So this other felony, the other felony was never identified. This means that the exact crime being alleged was not fully, clearly, or properly identified. It is unclear after 6 weeks of trial if one does not really know what they're being charged with, they cannot defend themselves. Now, I'm not convinced it's the best way to say it's not the other felony was never identified. What they did, they identified three felonies and they gave the jury, the judge, in his instructions to the jury, he gave the jury three choices they could prove from, that they could choose from. Sorry, three choices. I'll read to you what the instructions that the judge gave to the jury regarding this, the felony that they could choose from, the jury could choose from. He says, although you must conclude unanimously that the defendant conspired to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means, you need not be unanimous as to what those unlawful means were. In determining whether the defendant conspired to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means, you may consider the following. So he gives them three choices. The first one, violations of the Federal Elections Campaign Act, otherwise known as FECA, F-E-C-A. So you can say, well, this is the first felony we think he's committed. The second one, the falsification of other business records, or the third, violation of tax laws. And then he runs through, he says, the first of the people's theories of unlawful means, which I will now define. So he goes through and defines to the jury the Federal Election Campaign Act. And then really it comes to what they're talking about with that is the latter part. It says under federal law, a third party's payment of a candidate's expenses is deemed to be a contribution to the candidate unless the payment would have been made irrespective of the candidacy. If the payment would have been made even in the absence of the candidacy, the payment should not be treated as a contribution. So because they're saying, well, we're not, it seems that the district attorney is saying, well, this could be a possible felony, but we're not sure if we can actually prove that. So we'll put that down as one possible felony. You can choose that, members of the jury, if you want. However, because we're so generous, we'll give you another possible felony that he may have done, and you can also choose this one. That's falsification of business records. The second of the people's theories of unlawful means, which he defines for you now, is the falsification of other business records. Under New York law, a person is guilty of falsifying business records in the second degree when, with intent to defraud, he or she makes or causes a false entry in the business records of an enterprise. I'm not going to read all of that. And the third one, people's third theory, so your third choice, the third felony that you can choose from, which he defines is a violation of tax laws. Under New York State and New York City law, it is unlawful to knowingly supply or submit materially false or fraudulent information in connection with any tax return. Likewise, under federal law, it is unlawful for a person to willfully make any tax return statement or other document that is fraudulent or false to any other, as to any material matter, or that the person does not believe to be true and correct as to every material matter. Under these federal, state, and local laws, such conduct is unlawful, even if it does not result in underpayment of taxes. So when Martin Iles are saying the other felony was never identified, it's because they gave the jury a choice. I've never heard of this happening here in Australia. You have to lay it out. This is what the person is getting charged with. This is exactly because the defense needs to be able to put forward their defense. Oh, well, we know what we're being charged with, so we will defend. But what they've done here, they've said, oh, well, we'll just give the jury three things to choose from. You may decide, oh, this is what he's being charged with. He's being charged uh, he's being charged with a violation of tax laws. And then, another two people in the jury might say, "Oh no, no, well, we think it fits more into falsifying business records," and a couple of others might say, "Oh, no, not really. We think it fits into the Federal Election Campaign Act." So because they haven't put it out, because they've given the jury a choice, which, like I said, it's unheard of. It's not justice. Well, then how do you even defend against that? Anyway, so Isle says the jury was drawn from an area that votes Trump at a rate of just a few percent of the population, meaning impartiality was improbable. There were so many felony accounts. Remember, he was charged with 34 felony accounts because every check, every payment that was made. So you also got to remember he paid to Michael Cohen, who was his attorney, the attorney for the Trump organization, $420,000. Now he only paid 130,000, I think it was, to Stormy Daniels, but because there were other expenses in there for Michael Cohen, so all up, he owed Michael Cohen $420,000. If you're paying an attorney $420,000 and you've got a payment plan put in place, it seems reasonably logical to me that you would just put down when you sending away, you've got the invoice and you're sending off a check or whatever, or even if you're putting it by electronic payments, you would just label it legal expenses. It's to the attorney. Anyway, so every piece of paper was charged as a separate account. Each count has its own jail sentence. In theory, he could be sentenced to 136 years in jail. In practice, he may be sentenced anywhere from 0 to 136 years. It will be interesting to see whether they sentence him such that he is in jail on election day. Martin Iles finishes with this. He says, the hush money thing is sleazy. The show trial is Soviet. Things are broken. He ends with quoting Isaiah 59:14, which says that justice is turned back and unrighteousness stands far away, for truth has stumbled in the public square. I would also like to quote Isaiah 5, verse 20. This is what I think the district attorney over there in New York has done. He is a person that's gone out and said, in Isaiah 5:20, it says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This is what the Attorney General over there has done. He's been voted in on a promise that, yeah, I'm going to get Donald Trump no matter what. No matter what, I'm going to get revenge. We don't like what Donald Trump does, what Donald Trump stands for. We don't like the fact that he stood up for abortion, against abortion. We don't like any of that. We don't like the fact, all his politics. So I'm going to do something evil. I'm going to twist the law. I'm going to twist the law to make sure that we can get what I'm going to call justice, what I'm going to call good, but it's actually evil. He is committing a great injustice in order that so he can appease the mob. That's what he's doing. He's twisting the law to get revenge. That is not good. That is evil. But the thing is, he's putting it out there. He's giving you darkness and he's telling you, no, this is light. This is good. This is evil. This is destruction. This is twisting of the justice system in a Western nation. And if they can do this to Donald Trump, I know you've probably heard this before, but if they can do this to someone like Donald Trump with his means, with his power, with his ability to access lawyers and to fight it, then they can do that to anyone. No one, literally no one is safe. No one would be able to find justice if they can do this to someone like him. If they decide that they don't like what you say. They don't like your politics. They don't like the ideas that you have. They will twist the law. They will break the law to be able to put you behind bars. That is what this means. Like it says in Isaiah 59, justice has been turned back and righteousness is standing far away because the truth has stumbled in the public square. This is not truth. This is not justice. This is not righteousness. These are evil men, twisting the law to get revenge on someone that they hate. That's all this is. No matter what you think of Donald Trump, yep, he did something sleazy. He committed a misdemeanor. He did something wrong. You do not break the law. You do not twist the law. You do not commit evil and then tell everyone that, oh no, what I'm doing is righteous, just so I can hunt down what I want to call justice. This is not good. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
And say it isn't real, and please don't go away. Just give me one more day. What if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. What if I could? What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. We could start again. We could start again. We could start again.